The world had been divided into 8 kingdoms, one for each race. The Elven Sanctuary, home to the Shadow Elves. The cursed forest twisted by the taint of corruption. The Goblin Plains, where orcs and goblins go unchecked. The Forbidden Desert, with its scorching sands and lost cities. The Hell Gorges, filled with lava seas and home to demonkind. The Arcane Valley, where the 8 spheres of magic take root. The Forgotten Crypts, where the dead are restless, and the frozen peaks, where the bloodthirsty barbarian horde awaits. Although it has never truly known peace over centuries of existence, the world of Una is about to descend into chaos. For reasons unknown, hordes of monsters are now plaguing the land and threaten its fragile stability. To counter this threat, the celestial dragon, last of its kind, had foreseen 8 great heroes that could one day replace him as he draws his last breaths. Each of them had been given a dragon egg to bring to the legendary Mount Dragon in order to become the world's very first dragon souls. Infused with the essence of the dragon, these chosen heroes are now capable of transforming into dragons. Guided by the celestial dragon, they have begun their training to replace him, but the dragon has gone missing. Unsure of what to do, they venture forth in hope of shedding light on what is lurking behind all this. Now, let us journey on and meet our legendary heroes. Windy Shores. Our journey begins at Windy Shores, a quiet place of little significance. Call that healing? An apple a day doesn't keep the orc at Goblin bay. Bombers, nasty little creatures that love a bang. apple a day doesn't keep the orc at bay. Call that healing? There is a dragon saying, where there is a goblin, there is a swarm. It's dragon morphing time! Dragon Force! Fire it up! Let me tell you about Grog, a retired half-orc hero who spent peaceful days as a tavern keeper along with his 3 goblin sidekicks. It was a pretty tavern, nestled on the high cliffs of the Goblin Plains, where you were welcomed by the warmth of a good game, a good meal, and a good beer. Without alcohol, of course. One day, grieving families came to inform him that a band of bloodthirsty orcs had kidnapped their children to turn them into slaves. Grog reluctantly left his tavern to negotiate an exchange with those he affectionately called his former in-laws. This is how he learned that his half-brother Bismarck the Destroyer, a purebred orc with a non-existent sense of humor, was preparing to invade the Goblin Plains in order to set them ablaze. That's when he decided to dig out his old combat gloves that he had sworn never to wear again. He then undertook the risky, even dangerous plan to unite the warlike goblin clans in order to face the threat of the orc invasion. A great battle ensued, during which Grog and his army of goblins confronted Bismarck and his legions of orcs. Thanks to his power, Grog transformed into a dragon and repelled the invader with the very short-lived help of the goblins. A year of peace has now passed. However, Grog has heard of a new threat looming over the Goblin Plains. Rumors say that Bismarck has not only returned, but has succeeded in uniting orcs and goblins under one banner. So it seems that Grog must once again put on his fighting gloves and face his half-brother Bismarck, the Destroyer.
Golden Fields.
There is not much to see here, but sometimes you just have to walk to reach places of actual interest. Nothing quite like a giant wasp being crushed under your teeth. You can't believe it's not butter. Many hits, huh? Finally, less talking and more fighting. An apple a day doesn't keep the orc at bay. Tastes like chicken, I guess. Have to love those warping goblin shamans. Just make sure to keep an eye on them.
Goblinburg.
As you might imagine, Goblinburg is a place that just crawls with goblins. A great vacation spot for adventurers looking to crack some skulls, if you ask me.
Fire it up!
Should I introduce every single new monster? Fine. I'll just go ahead and say it. War. As they are more commonly known, are vicious war dogs usually used by orcs to wage war. Careful not to let them pounce on you. Call that healing? The more mobs, the merrier.
Dragon Force!
Ah! Finally! Orcs! Now these orc warriors are berserker by nature, so make sure to finish the job quickly.
Farmville.
Sure is a strange name for a town. Lack of human imagination, I suppose. It seems that our young adventurers have arrived just in time to save the town. Now it remains to be seen if they can clear it out.
It's dragon morphing time!
Ever wonder where all these crates and whatnots come from? They didn't exist back in my day. An apple a day doesn't keep the orc at bay. That was way too easy. Must have been a very old mountain troll, if you ask me. Dragon Plains. This place reminds me of a time long lost. It's also the only place worth seeing in this kingdom. I'm sure you're wondering if those are petrified dragons or just statues. Far from me to spoil their secrets. Call that healing? Time to introduce you to orc defenders. These annoying shield bearers love blocking attacks. The question is, can you find your way around them? Let us see how our heroes perform. An apple a day doesn't keep the orc at bay.
Fire it up!
Where the heck did that come from? A goblin vacation retreat? Who even lets goblins desecrate such holy places? A good thing they are about to get a beating. Bismarck's Warbase. Assuming we can trust the goblin, this is where the final stand will take place. A taste of things to come. Let's just hope the real fight is more worthy of my time.
Fire it up! Dragon Force! many hits, huh?
If only Bismarck hadn't fled, maybe our heroes would know what was truly going on. Following their epic battles in the Goblin Plains, our heroes regroup at their stronghold atop Mount Dragon. An impressive feast is made by Grog in order to celebrate their victory over his half-brother Bismarck. Roasted maple boar, accompanied by his famous salty caramel brew, are on the menu. A celebration that is short-lived and leaves a bitter taste for some. How was Bismarck able to come to power so quickly? And most troubling, didn't Grog say that his half-brother was dead? How did this all come to pass without their knowing? As night falls, a nightmare crawls into Oslo's slumber. When he wakes in cold sweat, he knows deep down in his bones that he must travel to the Elven Sanctuary.
The Elven Border.
This place is where unwanted travelers meet their fateful end. Let me tell you about Oslo, a banished shadow elf assassin that was forced into exile. Oslo was his family's greatest pride. He was their most talented assassin, even at his young age. He was so good that the general of the Shadow Elves herself attended his rite of passage. This sinister trial involved eliminating intruders within their kingdom. As slavers had foolishly crossed into their lands, he was ordered to take care of them, which he did flawlessly. As he was about to pass his trial, an unexpected twist of events occurred. Indeed, the slavers had a young phalanx girl as their prisoner. He was naturally expected to take care of her, for she too was an intruder. However, against all his training, he turned his blade against his brethren and protected the little girl. A high crime for which the punishment was immediate banishment. His family name removed, and his eyes branded yellow. He was left with nothing but his life. He swore on that day to dethrone the general and her twisted ways. Having no hope of defeating her, he decided to undertake the impossible, to seek out the celestial dragon in order to become the first dragon soul. Through blood and sweat, he was forced to challenge the dragon to a mighty duel. Although the underdog, Oslo's incredible intellect guided his blade to victory. With his newfound strength, he returned to his homeland to confront the general. In an epic finale, he and the general's forces clashed. During the battle, her magic backfired and turned her into a horrific spider queen. Ultimately, Oslo was victorious. But today, his victory seems short-lived as shadows whisper of her return, forcing him to travel once more to the Elven Sanctuary. It obviously seems like our heroes are most unwelcome in the Elven Sanctuary. But they are not the kind to get slowed down by such trivialities. Taste
An
like
apple a
chicken,
day.
I guess.
Did you hear
the
that?
orc at bay.
That is the distinctive sound of hunter wasps. Nasty flying insects that attack anyone and anything they come across. Don't let them hit you with their darts. You call that healing?
Dragon Force!
Team? Where the heck did that come from?
Den of the Damned. Former place of worship of the Elven General. This is where her prisoners were given to her pet spiders. And if you're wondering, that general is now the Spider Queen.
Spiders. Creatures born of an abomination long ago, and whose children plague the elven sanctuary to this day. Careful not to get caught in their web. Who could resist the temptation of breaking a giant wall to enter a dark cave filled with unknown horrors? Oh. Too many hits, huh?
apple a day. Drafts and monsters, yet nothing to confirm the presence of the Spider Queen. A fruitless endeavor, if you ask me.
Temple of Solitude.
Yet another landmark of the former Shadow Elves General. The Temple of Solitude is thus named, for its main purpose was to imprison people beneath its walls.
Dragon Force!
I'd almost cheer for those shadows. Tastes like chicken, I guess. That healing? These dragon souls sure make great pest control.
It's dragon morphing time!
I am keeping notes for future needs.
final destination.
A fitting name, for rare are those who walk out alive of this place. On the other hand, it is quite pleasing to the eyes. The scenery, I mean. Now time to
Test your might!
boom, 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 boom. Where the heck did that come from? Our hero's third trial is to prove their worth by avoiding all forms of damage. Twisted, dark crystals have risen all over the land, and our friendly neighborhood witches have decided to exploit our heroes' talents to get things done. What might seem like the easiest of all challenges seems to be by far the worst.
The Forbidden Sanctuary.
This ancient bastion of shadow elves is home to one of the deadliest creatures, which is actually the reason why it is now abandoned. That sounds like a promise of glorious battles to come. Sylvan wolves. These hybrid creatures are a crossbreed between a canine and the dark elven flora. Beware, they tend to hunt in packs.
It's dragon morphing time!
Apple a day. It's like chicken, I guess. Keep the orc at bay. Now we're talking. A spirit troll, or trolls if we get lucky. Although trolls are most commonly encountered in the Goblin Plains, they have distant cousins all over the continent. Sure hope our heroes will get to fight a few more of those spirit trolls. Beats fighting weak opponents. Did you know that trolls aren't truly evil? They only enjoy killing their prey than devouring them. I know it might sound evil, but trust me, there are far greater
Fire it up!
evils out there.
The Queen's Lair.
Although our heroes are nowhere near a cave, I know for a fact that naming this place the Queen's Lair makes all kinds of sense. Having fallen into her trap, our heroes have to hurry, for the Spider Queen will surely gather her strength for the grand finale.
Many hits, huh?
Fire it up!
Call that healing?
An apple
This
a
like
day
chicken, I
doesn't
guess. Keep the orc at bay. What a beautiful display of power and destruction! Oh, and you better show her who's the strongest, because she will shred you to pieces with her sheer might. This was never a real fight.
Dragon Ball!
Let us wait until she's back and starts unleashing her red rain.
The moment we had all been waiting for. The full might of the Spider Queen.
Following their return to Mount Dragon, the heroes have little to celebrate. Somehow, the Spider Queen and plausibly Bismarck were but pawns in someone else's game. But whom? And more importantly, what was this person after? As they are laying out new plans and trying to find this villain, they are visited by a strange messenger. He introduces himself as Malverick, a servant of a greater power, and he proposes a deal. Should the heroes bring him a bark of Villandra, he would help them uncover the great plan behind all this. At the mention of Villandra, Eliodora is thrown aback. How was this possible? She had slain her with her armies, no? This was a lie. Seeing how he was no longer welcome, the messenger took his leave. That night, Eliodora dreamt of Villandra, her ancestral enemy. And there was no mistaking it. It was back from the dead and calling her.
Forest of Thorns.
This place reflects the sad state in which the majestic elven kingdom has now turned into over the centuries. Let us uncover the past of Eliodora, the protector of the forest. Ever since she was a child, she knew the cursed forest to be corrupted. Growing up, she could only stand witness as elven cities fell one by one, consumed by the thorns and the defiled creatures whose minds fell prey to the corruption. As she grew up, she tried to enlist her brothers and then the elven court for their aid. But none would lift a finger. Stubborn and determined, she decided to secretly journey on her own and meet the celestial dragon. Little did she know that the corruption had a name, Villandra. This creature was the curse behind the plight of the forest. Having no other choice but to face her, Eliodora built an army and journeyed to the heart of the fallen capital, Evandil. There, she met her nemesis, and a great battle occurred. In a last ditch of hope, Eliodora managed to rally her troops and crush Villandra. But she had been warned that the roots of the corruption would grow back. Indeed, A few months after her victory, it would seem that her sworn enemy has started to sprout back its twisted seeds. Should you wonder what those creatures are? They are saurian warriors. Savage reptilian humanoids that feast on elven flesh. Call that healing?
Fire it out!
These fearsome beasts are hybrids between a panther and a carnivorous plant. They can swallow an elf whole. An apple a day doesn't keep the orc at bay. Ogre Fish Territory. This place is filled with swamps, mosquitoes, and other unpleasantness. A perfect spot for a dragon to establish its lair, as no one likes to venture into such a place. So much talking. Fortunately, I made sure the ogre fish would see them as intruders to test their mettle. Ogre fish are simple creatures that tend to focus on eating. Just like Grog, who's closer to being half ogre fish than half orc. Where the heck did that come from? Swamp witches, just like shadow elf witches, but nastier. Here's my tip. Dispatch them quickly. Ha-ha!
Too many hits, huh?
Lost Rock.
This once thriving valley is now home to endless swamps and dangers.
What Eliodora forgot to mention is that those are extremely poisonous spiders.
What's a swamp without bloodthirsty and poisonous darts?
dragon force!
Saurian territory.
Far deep into the forest lie the lands long conquered by the Saurians, a place where great battles await. Following her instincts, Eliodora guides our heroes through the Saurian territories in hopes that Villandra has set her lair in an old elven ruin due east. Fire it up!
Ruins of Valeria.
The ancient elven ruins were once a thriving elven city at the heart of the cursed forest. It is now but a shadow of its former self. Ooh, swamp troll! Talk about a plot twist! It's just a flesh wound. You call that healing?
Thorn's End.
No one has set foot in these parts for over a century. A perfect place for a villain to fester. Back in my days, dragons would make sure to hunt in these parts of the world. Thus enters the villain, right on time, to prevent us from hearing more of Grog's nonsense. Fortunately for our adventurers, it would seem that someone left an unattended raft in a land where no one has set foot in ages. Where the heck did that come from?
Dragon Force!
Let's just pretend that didn't happen.
It's just a flesh wound.
A third villain now falls at the hands of our heroes. Now light must be shown unto all of this. Back atop Mount Dragon, our heroes regroup to discuss their next move. Oslo reveals that the unknown can only be the one they know as Karnak, the one opposing the celestial dragon. Yet they have no means to uncover his whereabouts. To answer their question, Malverick appears before them once more. He informs them that one last pawn of the unknown has to be stopped, Morlock the Mad. To stop him, they must venture into the Forbidden Desert, home of Fennec. Fulfilling their end of the bargain, they gave Malverick the Bark of Villandra in hope that he may craft a prison sigil capable of stopping their true enemy. As the daytime sun Luz rises, our heroes transform one last time to face their final villain.
Thunder's Dome.
This battle arena is where many great Gnoll leaders were made, facing countless dangers. Having clearly landed in the wrong place, our heroes must grind once more in order to go forward. Many hits, huh? weapon.
Now sounds like the time to introduce Fennec.
The final chapter of our story takes place in the Forbidden Desert. Ever since her childhood, she was destined to serve the Temple of Lost Sands. There she trained as a warrior monk for over a decade. Her mission was simple: to train, meditate, and protect the Eye of Time. At that, she had failed. Fennec had tried to hunt down Morlock before he could be a threat, but it was part of his plan. Morlock had lured her away from the temple to seize the Eye of Time, and in that moment destroyed all those that were dear to her. Upon her return home, she was jailed for her disobedience and later sentenced to retrieve the lost artifact. This quest for redemption forced her to travel through the deepest parts of the desert and to confront countless gnolls and monsters in her search for Morlock. Ultimately, she overcame every obstacle and their paths finally crossed. An epic battle took place as the gnolls assaulted Barabos, the last bastion of the desert. Following her victory, the city was spared. Despite the win, her antagonist rises again to torment her just as he had in the past.
Sand Oasis.
This is one of the most populated areas in the Forbidden Desert, but it isn't populated by people. Among its many citizens lie the Marauders, ferocious fire-wielding people that prey off caravans and lost heroes. Should I hint that our heroes blindly try to find Morlock through the oasis?
It's dragon morphing time!
Stand up! The lovely blood-scorched rocks of the desert. This place reminds me of a battle fought eons ago against the Lord of the Desert. Horned devils, powerful beasts capable of charging opponents and rendering them to pieces.
Dragon Force!
And now for a treat, desert trolls. Just slay him already. Kids these days always playing with their food.
Hive Canyon.
Home to the largest desert dart nests. Even though our heroes won't find their main target here, they will at least have some target practice.
It's dragon morphing time!
The more I think about it, the more I believe this game should have been called
Heroes of Mount Tenebrand, or Tenebrand and his heroes.
Now that's a name.
Dragon Force.
Call that healing? Did I mention that my name is Tenebrand, and that I am the sire of the celestial dragon? No matter.
desert.
The bones of many great beasts lie all over this forbidden part of the desert. All these great creatures had sensed the need to gather here in their final moment. There is a certain energy linked to this place.
Fire it up! Thunder's Dome 2.
It would seem that Morlock has built himself a new dome to play with his praise.
dragon force!
Yes! Now that's what I'm talking about. Real action.
The moment we have all been waiting for.
The final and ultimate battle. Our heroes have finally seized the day and saved the continent of Una from devastation. With the blood of Morlock on their blade, they gave Malverick the last component needed to seal the great evil that had brought back the villains of the world. As they are about to celebrate, Malverick appears before them one last time. He tells them to meet him atop Mount Dragon to witness their victory and awaken the protective seal that will protect the world. As Malverick completes his ritual, Oslo leaps from the shadows and steals the artifact while drawing his blade.
I must admit that I'm a little disappointed.
I was hoping for an epic secret boss.
And now let us witness the true mettle of our heroes.
Let's just pretend that didn't happen.
The Celestial Dragon has chosen you to protect the continent. And now, it is time to prove your worth. This ancient demon from the old world must be stopped.
stand up!
Now, my heroes are finally victorious!
I must say that this journey has properly harvested their skills for what true... Finally, our heroes can truly celebrate their victory. Grog wants to cook a feast worthy of legends, but lacks his most precious ingredient. To his great surprise, Oslo tosses him a bag full of dragon spices that he had secretly gathered early on their journey. Grog smiles as he knows he has finally won the Shadow Elf over. Eliodora stares at the beauty of Una atop Mount Dragon, joined by Fennec. The monk tells her about her father, who was the god of wrath in some other world, and that she has yet to cleanse herself from his taint. Just like her, Eliodora knows all too well the scars of corruption, and slowly they open up to each other. From that day forth, a friendship is built that will last for a lifetime. Unlike the others, Oslo knows that the shadows will whisper of danger once more. But he lets it go for the time being, for he has finally found friends with whom to share his life. Maybe one day he will say the words that need to be said to Eliodora, but not today. All four sit down at the table as the aroma of Grog's great feast fills their nostrils and soon their bellies. With lots of laughter and a few punches, they celebrate until Luz rises on the horizon. The end. Well, not for me. This is where my journey begins, as I must prepare for the great war ahead with the 8 dragon souls.